Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our conversation with Dawn Fisher, a writing tutor in the Academic Tutoring Center at Asnuntuck. In this edition, Dawn talked about easy strategies for dealing with stress. Dawn began our conversation by discussing ways to increase feel-good hormones.
Oxytocin is the thing that makes you feel like safe, just almost like bliss. And they say you can get little reactions like that from playing with your pets, playing with a baby, holding hands with someone, like the little baby otters that float on the ocean so they don't lose each other. Um, Hugging your family, giving a compliment. And then the dopamine, you get the reward chemical from completing a task, doing self-care activities, eating food, yum, and celebrating like little wins. And when I feel like things are off, I think, what of these little things could I do? Just
Right.
like you have a little bit of, control, or that you have kind of a plan, like everything isn't just spinning away like in The Wizard of Oz or something. It's like, oh, okay, I sense that I'm getting that like kind of, nervous feeling or whatever. What can I do to bring it down? You can say mantras. You can find people on YouTube like your Louise Hayes or your Wayne Dyers with, only good lies before me is a nice mantra, or everything always works out for me. To quietly say that, just even like some deep breaths, having like a touchstone. I have like a red rock that is supposed to be grounding, they say. So I'm like, oh, you get put your red rock some days. But knowing that you're kind of trying to take care of yourself in the stressed out mode of online learning or a difficult class or a paper that you don't know what to do with, just knowing that, I do have a toolbox. Is there a tool that I could pull out right now? Could kind of just take care of me. Some people take baths, some people I like to use music, and I'm not like a super musical person. I can't play any instruments, I can't sing, but I go to like the binaural beats. And if I'm trying to do work, like pay bills, and I'm getting confused or something, I go to like the study and focus and concentration music. I mean, the science says that it works. And if I feel like, oh, I've got my study music on, I'm definitely more focused and concentrated. I'll take it, you know. But I just know that at least I'm doing something on my own behalf to take care of myself.
We do have some links to some of those clips. They're like free YouTube clips and stuff like that. A whole kind of collection of material like that, right? Those
Right.
music. So we have those in our Stress Less team, and we encourage students to check those out, and we'll make sure to, link to that information too, so students know how to find it. I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in those, really, like you're saying, catastrophizing kind of thoughts. It's very easy to get caught up in that. But what you're describing is really great, because I think it's hard to remember that is all part of self-care, and we're not machines, right?
We're just full-fledged human beings, and we get stressed out, and we eat too much sugar, and then we crash. But maybe at that point you could eat some berries instead. Like you're just trying to do whatever little things you can do to make yourself feel better. And then we're also we've talked a lot amongst ourselves about like the physical strain of online learning, right? I mean, your brain is fried after looking at a computer screen all day, and then people are like, hey, you want to have a virtual party? And it's like, I've been looking at this screen all day. I can't do anything else virtually. I really can't. But you think about like the neck and the shoulders and that area right there, the lower back. So I do think it's important to have a proper chair, stretch, do like some self massage kind of stuff. Try to take care of the eye strain. We've talked a lot about that. We've seen students that really have complained of eye strain, and trying to make a different amount of light on the screen.
Well, you're exactly right, Dawn. I mean, it's not just students who are having those kind of
right. We are too.
Yeah, us too.
Right.
But yeah, teaching those, and it's not hard to do. And of course, we're always happy to help students. You hear a lot about like blue light, the effects of blue light
Right.
on your eyes or mood or sleep, right?
Exactly.
But yeah,
I think that's important if you have access to that kind of stuff, especially if you're on a lot. It can be
Yeah.
very tiring and draining to just be looking and flipping windows. And I mean, it's tough. It is very tough, I think, on the body too.
It is, yeah. And so do you have any other kinds of tips as far as giving yourself a break, or maybe changing around your study space to kind of give you some movement breaks, or just to take a step away from the computer for a little bit? Kind of
what I like to do is because I'm focused, I mean, and I bounce between my phone and my computer screen with different parts of my job and, my life. And it's just like it narrows the world down to these little tiny bits of nothing. So what I like to do is, I mean, I do like to get up and, put the laptop on the ground or whatever next to my chair. And I like to look at big things then to kind of like reverse that little like tunnel vision that I got. Like even I'll step outside with my little dog, who I should not let her out the front door, but it's a better view of the stars. So, I'll let her go out for like her little break. And I'll just stand there and like, even if it's clouds, if it's stars, if it was like one of those gigantic blue moons or whatever, I try to take in something big visually, because I feel like that just counter punches all these little small screens and that kind of thing. I do think stretching, even a quick walk, even just like I'll do these crazy little things like, oh, I'll just do 10 things to make the kitchen look neater. Or, I'll get 10 things in my pile off the dining room table. And just like you're walking, you're in a different position, you're accomplishing a little task, just a whole different vibe. But I do think taking breaks, connecting with the family members just a little bit, get out the cute little teacups and everybody gets a little cup of tea or apple juice or hot cider or whatever while mommy takes a break or daddy takes a break. Anything like that I think is good. It's good self-care, and the research does show, and again, I know you guys know more about this than I do, but the research does show that you are more productive if you take these little breaks and stuff than if you blow through for hours and hours and hours in a panic. Yeah, I highly recommend like at least every half hour, give your back a break, give your eyes a break, give your family a break. Just kind of come out, walk around, splash water on your face, step outside, even if it's cold, even if it's real muggy or something or rainy. It just, I don't know, I think it just freshens us up a little bit. Just little things that just make things just a little bit sweeter for you. Well, there's that quote, and I don't know who said it, but it was something like, meditate daily for half an hour. When extremely busy, make it an hour. It's like the opposite idea of what you're thinking, but
Yeah.
That is another, just kind of like some meditating or some slow breaths to kind of get that shallow breathing. When we're stressed, we kind of shallow breathe. Then our brain doesn't get the oxygen that, it really needs, and it's just a loop that you can get in.
Yeah, no, anything to break that vicious cycle where you're just stuck in that rut, just changing it up. I think great advice. Yeah.
Right. I know. I think that rut is often fear-based. Fear that you won't get a good grade, fear that you won't get it in on time, fear that it won't be good or whatever. And anything you can do that can break that up. I heard someone say once, and I tried it a couple times, it's a tough one, but like you can even throw an ice cube down your shirt or down your own back to like, ooh, you get that like, and you just sort of like undo something that's in some sort of a little loop, a negative loop, because it just surprises you so much. So yeah, or I like sometimes I'll put a really good smelling lotion on my shoulders and be like, it's like, well, pomegranate, that can solve all the world's problems, I'm sure. But just stuff like that, just to know that you're trying something and that you're really having like a lot of self-compassion. Like, wow, this is a busy time. Finals are coming up. You've got kids. They've got virtual learning. Let's have some self-compassion. You have enough compassion for everyone else, I'm sure. It's time to just turn it right back on yourself.
It's easy to forget that that you too are a person who needs taking care of, right? You're busy trying to take care of everyone else.
TLC, like we need TLC too.
When we start talking about how to deal with this time, right? Finals and pandemic situation.
Christmas and or holidays that people try to get ready for with food and sometimes and decorating and like, whoa.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. It's not just, oh, I finished my paper and that's all I have to worry about. You also have to think about yourself as like your well-being is not only getting the work done, but also
it's like it would be nice if you got your paper in and it turned out well and you were fueled by adrenaline. Like we've all done that paper, but the crash that comes after it is horrible. It really is. Kind of if we've talked a lot about this in our department. I'm sure Deb's department is on this all the time too, but like pacing yourself and chunking things out and going piece by piece, or just trying to make it not such a rush at the end, if possible. That can really help.
I had students argue with me, right, Dawn, and you too.
I know, I've heard these arguments. I love how you come to.
Yeah. They're always, I do better when I'm under pressure. I do better when I procrastinate and kind of rush to the end and stay up all night. And maybe that's true. I don't, for myself and for what we know about student grades and behavior and things like that, I don't know if it's true, but I do know that your levels of stress and anxiety and depression, right, just skyrocket.
Right, they're all intertwined, right. Mm-hmm.
So maybe the quality of your work won't suffer, but definitely the quality of your just like mental health, your well-being, that can suffer. Your life
after, because everything's been popping so hard for so long. Yeah, it's just not good. It's just not a nice even keel. I think maybe some people, and I used to be more like this when I was younger. If there's not drama, like it's kind of not fun. But now I've learned that like the more just kind of smooth sailing that we can do, the easier it is on the body, the more enjoyment I get out of life, the more I do get accomplished. So I think that is something to consider too.
Yeah, and I think the whole idea is to finish the semester strong, both mentally and academically, and the way to do that is to just not try to just cram everything in the last minute. So anything you can do to just, put in those breaks for yourself, chunk out the material. I think
reach out for help.
Yeah, it'll just make tutoring. That end of semester that much more, maybe hopefully stress-free, and then making you feel rejuvenated when it's time to start the next semester. So you want to go into the holidays feeling good.
In high school, it got very busy, right before the holidays. And the students, it wasn't final exams, but it was just a very hard push. And I was sick for every break. You'd get a 2-week break, and Dawn was sick, or Dawn's back was out, or who needs it? Yes, I did check all the boxes that had to get completed, but I know now that there was probably a way I could have checked those boxes and not been a complete basket case when it was over.
Right.
Live and learn, right.
There's a very steep come down. You're really hurting for, right, for that time afterward. And is it worth, you kind of have to think about that. Is it worth all of that just fatigue once you're done?
Right. That's what I was mentioning before too. Like you can do it with the work, and you can also do it like with the drama in your life. And that's why those little phrases like, interesting, just let it pass, because that takes so much energy and you have to go so far up the cliff that you fall off of it. And you need that energy for your work, or for, to help your kids not be sick, or whatever. So yeah, the drama it can be addicting. And yeah.
Instead of like getting swept away in the emotions, kind of stepping away and like, oh, that's interesting that my brain would think, right? But it's not necessarily true. Your brain will get into habits, right? But all the thoughts you think aren't necessarily true, right?
No, absolutely not. No, but they do impact how you feel. And, so we might as well think good thoughts.
I think our big, takeaway from this time not only is is, learning what we can kind of get through, but also, it is an opportunity to maybe gain some skills that maybe we wouldn't have necessarily needed to develop, right?
I've gained a ton of skills, and I never wanted them in the first place, but they were foisted upon me, and as a good employee and person, you just keep moving forward. And I think we've learned a lot. I think we've learned that we can access education in more ways than we even realized. And I mean, I'm a big fan of in-person, believe me. There's a place for everything and a time for everything, and I think I've learned about that. How our students can benefit from some aspects of remote learning and services when they can't get to campus all the time, especially with families or other obligations. I think that is, I do think we've learned a lot.
Yeah, and I think if for nothing else, we've now realized that we are capable of so much more than we
really
ever thought
are.
we would have been.
Right.
If we a year ago thought about doing everything virtually, we would have been like, nope, it's impossible, can't do it.
Impossible, not interested, right?
Nope, can't be done.
Right.
Everything has to be done. There are certain things that have to be done in person, and we're realizing that we are so much more capable and resourceful than we may have given ourselves credit for way back when. So there's a lot of good things that are coming out of this, and I think it's recognizing all of the small little successes that we've all had along the way, and knowing that you're capable of so much more than you think. So you're thinking about this final, when you're thinking about writing your final essay, know that, you've gotten to this point, you can get through a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there something, is there a big takeaway that you're thinking of, a message that you think you really want students to get out of like our conversation today, and to take into finals week?
Right. The big takeaway for me would be to have some intentionality and have just a little, place of peace with yourself where you talk to yourself and say, I deserve all good things. I deserve like a nice place to study that makes me comfortable and is, maybe free from some distractions. I deserve little rewards after I, do something good. I deserve breaks. I can reach out for help, especially again to the tutoring center. I know we just troubleshoot so many different things that don't have anything to do with tutoring, but we get people to the right places. Don't let fear take you over. Another technique that I really love that I use is and I heard this from someone else. I didn't make it up, but it's like you create like a little board for yourself, board of people, that would like kind of
like your cabinet or something.
Yeah, like your
members of a cabinet or something like that.
With all the politics.
Yeah.
And you put people on your cabinet. This is like in your mind, and you think like, okay, I'll put, maybe you put like a musician on your cabinet. It's your favorite musician, and they're so creative, and they say things well. And maybe your grandma who passed is on your cabinet because she was so encouraging and loving. And then in times of stress, you go to your cabinet members and you think like, well, who do I need? Just like, like what hormone would be better to have, better dopamine than adrenaline. You go to your cabinet member and you try to figure out what you need from them and how that they can kind of help. And again, this is like visual. It's, kind of abstract. I get that some people might think that's goofy, but I don't know. I think it really helps. And I also think it's good to know who in your real life world is kind of on your team, and stick with those people during stressful times. And the people that kind of, oh, you'll never do well on that. Or I remember someone told my sister once, because she was applying for a job without a master's, and, it was better to have a master's to be a social worker at this place. And she said, you'll never get that job. And my sister said, I never spoke to her again. But there's people that try to bring you down sometimes, or don't get too big for your britches, or, oh, don't think you can be all that. It's like, where would we be in this world if nobody thought they could get anywhere beyond where they are? Try to keep those people to a minimum, be busy when they call and text, and keep the people who really have your best interests at heart as close as you can, because that's the encouragement. That's the kind of energy that you need flowing to you during, during times when you have a lot to do. There are people that do want to bring us down. I don't know why, but I avoid them like the plague now.
I was just thinking, whenever those people who are kind of dragging you down, they always seem to be people who don't have it figured out in their lives.
Or your study advice. What's your grade point average? Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that you gave us some really good takeaways, Dawn. I mean, I think it's been helpful. Just students are going to be watching this, hearing what's worked for you, and just knowing the little things that they can do just to kind of get through the rest of the semester here, and finish strong and finish happy. I think that's the important thing.
Right. The most important thing is to maintain your inner stability with whatever tools you have to use, and just keep moving. That's all there is.
Thank you so much for your time today, Dawn. We really, really appreciate it. Yes. And I think students will get a lot out of this.
It's really fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.